Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nutshell Report. Or is it the Nuts Hell Report? My name is Ian J. Peterson, I'm blind and I'm your host. On today's episode, I want to talk about being blind. No worries, I'm not going to bore you out about it, but just saying, I'm a blind person, got diagnosed when I was very young. My vision back in the days when I was a teenager was around 25% left. It dropped over the years down to 5%, so I have a 95% of disability, which is not much to see anymore, I have to say. But hey, I save on lights. The only big thing I need is a huge TV, otherwise I can't see fuck all. What I want to talk about it is now being a blind person and moving countries. I was born in Germany, went through all the progress of being evaluated by the government. You have to go to the doctors, you have to get a lot of paperwork done to prove that you're blind. I don't know if everybody ever tries to fake he's blind, but you have to prove it, which I understand. So I had to prove this in Germany when I was very young, and nobody gave me a chance on the work market. So saying, there's no chance you can ever work because you're too fucked up. I mean, the vision, not the brain. The brain is fine. I found jobs in the hotel industry. The longest time I worked in guest relations for 5-star hotels. I made it all the way up to VIP, guest relation concierge. So I was dealing with all the international stars, Hollywood stars and singers and rock bands all over the world. Because my previous bosses, they believed in me and said, hey, come on, the vision, all right, but you can do it. And I did it. So I was all diagnosed in Germany. I had all my paperwork to prove that a blind person, I could get a little bit of disability allowance or benefit. I don't know how you call it in your area. So I got all of this done. But then I thought I don't want to stay my whole life in Germany. I want to go to Switzerland, because in Switzerland the hotel industry is even more fancy, more posh, more chicy. So I said I want to be a part of it. So I moved to Switzerland. Got a job at the Hilton company. I think you guys know the Hilton hotels. Before I worked for a private 5-star plus hotel, privately owned in Berlin. Very nice. Afterwards in Berlin I worked in the Steigenberger hotel brand. I think it's only known in Germany and Europe. I think nobody else knows it in the world, but it's also 5-star hotels. And then I moved over to Switzerland and worked in the 5-star hotel of the Hilton Hotel, Hilton Basel. It's not there anymore. It's torn down by now. I think after I left, all the guests left too, and it went bust. It's just joking. So I went to Switzerland, and guess what? I had to prove again that I'm blind. Not that my paperwork from Germany would work, or not that the Swiss government people could read the paperwork. No. Different country, different laws, different system. So I went through the whole system again. Many months of proving it, running to doctors, getting paperwork filled, handing it into one office, get a stamp, handing this paperwork with the stamp over to the other office, get more paperwork to fill out. Huge process. Huge process. Did it. Hey, I was finally officially blind in Switzerland. Now this didn't stop me from moving, guys, right? So I moved to Canada. To the beautiful island of Newfoundland. Beautiful island, very beautiful. If you ever go to Canada, go to Newfoundland. It's a little bit like Ireland. It's an amazing place. So I moved to Canada. Guess what? I had to prove again that I'm blind. Same process again, but this time I didn't stay long because I only had a tourist visa. So I stayed only for 6 months. And a little bit because I tried to get my paperwork sorted for the blindness, and maybe a work permit so I can do some jobs or whatever would be needed or whatever I could do in Newfoundland. But the whole process was too long. Before the process was finished, I had to leave, and I left. After Canada, I moved to Ireland. And for you guys who can't guess it now, just guess it. What happened in Ireland? I had to prove that I'm blind again to get some benefits. That's also an insurance thing, If you have an accident, most likely a handicap insurance would cover it, what happened. Of course, I can't drive a car, God forbid, and I was not even allowed to make a driver's license. I can't drive a bicycle too. So in Ireland, I went through the whole process again. Many months of paperwork and more paperwork. There must be folders and folders of my paperwork in all the countries, right? So I stayed in Ireland for around 11 years. I made it up in the career and became a manager. I became a hotel manager, hotel. You know, it was a small little place. We had 12, I'm not sure anymore. I think we had 12 bedrooms, also some dorm rooms, so I could host about 60 people there when we were fully booked. I was the manager there running the show with Zoom and magnifying software, but I had to magnify bigger and bigger. But I was registered blind, I got some tax benefits, and that was it. The National Council of the Blind, some of them help, some of them are more interested in collecting donations and then at the end doing nothing with it, just keeping it, God knows. The National Council of the Blind in Ireland, for example, I had an E55, a Nokia E55. I handed it in because I needed some screen reading software on it back in the days. It was a software called Talk, so I could read my text messages and answer on my text messages without seeing the screen. So I handed it in there with the National Council of the Blind of Ireland. The social worker took it and it disappeared. I called them, I wrote emails, my emails were ignored. The phone calls were like, we have to see, I don't know, it must be somewhere, blah, blah, blah. Gone, the phone. So I said, okay guys, if the phone is gone, then at least replace it, give me a new one. You know, I need this phone, I can't read text messages, how I'm supposed to, it was before WhatsApp, okay, and before all the smartphones. Never got the phone. Anyways, I left Ireland during the COVID time because I couldn't see a future anymore. I moved to Portugal, which is my home country now, where I live now. I live in Portugal on the Madeira Island. Beautiful island, and this is now, I made it clear with my wife the last time that I moved. I can't go through all of this anymore. Here I am now, arrived in Madeira. My vision went down to 5% now, so I'm totally fucked, right? Guess again, I have to prove I'm blind. The point of the whole podcast is here. If a person is blind, why can't there be like an international driver's license or an international, whatever, handicap license be issued? So when you have it and when you move countries, because you're handicapped, that doesn't mean you want to live and die in the place where you were born, right? Maybe you want to see the world, especially me now. Heck yeah, the last years where I have the 5%, while it's still going down, I want to see as much as I can of the world, but traveling, not just moving from place to place, because this is over, right? So why can't you guys in the governments, European Union in my case, make one fucking license which is accepted in all the countries, so I don't have to spend many months, and every time you need a stamp certificate in the governments, you have to pay for each stamp, you have to pay, and with barely no income, which I have at the moment, it adds up pretty fast, right guys? So give us one paper where we can go and so, yes, this is me, yes, and I'm really blind. I'm not making it up because it's cool to run around with a white stick. I'm not making it up because I'm a slapstick artist, comedian who loves to run into garbage bins, who loves to fall over fucking chairs in the restaurants, or who loves to step on little dogs because he couldn't see them, right? We're not making it up. So that's my point, that's my story, guys. Thank you for listening again. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed that you listened to my podcast. If you want to listen more, there will be more coming in the future. You can donate to buy me a coffee, little donation if you want, just to help out with my financial situation. So I can buy a coffee, a bottle of bourbon, or I can bring my wife for dinner. And if you're into the podcast, or if you want to start a podcast, I'm on Buzzsprout. My host is Buzzsprout. There's a link below. They have a perfect offer for newcomers, or also if you already have a podcast and you want to change your host because you're not happy. I'm super happy. Buzzsprout is super happy. I'm happy with Buzzsprout, to host all my shows, to put it on all the major platforms. It's a perfect host. I'm in love with Buzzsprout. You will too. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.